Hey friends, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to talk about 15 things you could declutter right now and that you might have overlooked or didn't think of. So number one is excess or old towels. Personally, I think we only need 1 to 2 towels per person and then maybe one extra for a guest. So for example, for my boyfriend and I, we would need up to 4 towels, maybe 5 if we were to have a guest over. A lot of the times we have excess towels that we just don't get around using because we just don't need that many. And also we sometimes have old towels that aren't comfortable anymore or have holes, and I think those we can cut up into small pieces and use as rags to clean. The number 2 is old or excess sheets. I personally would say you only need 2 bed sheets per bed and everything else is just excess or unnecessary. When you have one that you wash, you put on the other one and you just rotate it that way. Number 3 is unused or unnecessary kitchen items or kitchen gadgets. If kitchen gadgets go unused, it's pretty obvious that we should maybe declutter them since we don't get any use or joy out of it. But also sometimes we have unnecessary kitchen items. For example, I would put into this category those apple cutting devices where you just press down once and the apple is sliced into wedges. Personally, I think that is unnecessary. Unless, of course, you use that every single day, then by all means continue, but we can just use a simple knife and we have one gadget less. Then number 4, we have excess decor. If you have decor that is lying around dusty, doesn't bring you any joy, or if you even have decor that is stored away that you don't even see, then it's probably best to declutter that. Number 5 is uncomfortable things, so uncomfortable clothing or uncomfortable furniture. I feel like we just don't gravitate towards clothing or things that are uncomfortable. For example, even if the clothing looks super nice and super good, I just don't tend to grab it because it's uncomfortable and you want to be comfortable throughout your day. And same with an old armchair maybe that just isn't comfortable, that you don't find yourself sitting in regularly, then maybe it's best to give that away and declutter it. Number 6 is old files or old documents. You just don't need to hold on to files or documents for such a long period of time. For me personally, I like to hold on to documents for about 2 years, especially if it's some kind of financial record, and then I discard them. Or alternatively, you can also make a digital copy of it and store a digital file. Number 7 is empty or almost empty products. So I know a lot of us probably do this, that we buy a replacement if, for example, our shampoo is nearly running out. But then once we have the replacement, we start using the replacement before the original shampoo has run out. So now we have 2 shampoos in the shower, one that is pretty much almost empty and one that we've just started new. So with those type of things, make sure to completely use up the first one before we actually open the next one. And if you currently have lots of products open that are multiples, then make sure to use up one by one and declutter that way. But this also happens to me when it comes to pens or notebooks. Just be sure not to have too many duplicates and almost empties of specific things. Number 8 is just in case items. So maybe you have a waffle maker for just in case you one day decide to do a waffle sundae, or you have rain boots but you just live somewhere where it hardly rains, but just in case it rains you have rain boots. Or maybe you have a fancy tablecloth that you have just in case you have fancy company. I say most of the times you don't need those just in case things, and even if those rare occasions do occur, then you can either live without the fancy tablecloth, I'm sure your guests won't even notice, or you can actually head on over to the neighbor and borrow a waffle maker for your occasional and rare waffle sundaes. Number 9 is books that you just realistically wouldn't read again. Now this one is a little tough one for me because I do have books that I absolutely love, but if I really think about it realistically, I probably wouldn't read it again, at least not in the near future. Then it's probably best to give it away for now at least, and then maybe in 5 to 10 years when I decide to read it again, I can get it again, maybe secondhand. So really think about it. Are you going to read that book again in the next 1 to 2 years? And if not, maybe it's best to pass it along. Someone else might enjoy it in the meantime. Now, before we jump on to the next point, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of me and minimalism on this channel. And also, if you want to support me, be sure to check out Patreon. I do exclusive videos and vlogs and behind the scenes there, and it enables me to continue making YouTube videos. If you enjoy that, be sure to consider helping me out on Patreon. Number 10 are expired items. Now this one is a little more obvious when it comes to looking to your fridge. You don't want to have moldy things, but we tend not to think about expired spices or medicine or expired condiments. So with expired medicine, I'd say it's best to just discard it. Sometimes it's not only about it losing its medicinal property, but sometimes it can actually go bad in a sense that it can cause harmful side effects. And with food, you can be a little more generous. I would personally, if it's something like crackers or snacks or spices or condiments, make sure to look at it, see if there's any mold, smell it, taste it. If it tastes funny, then, or if it's expired for a year or more than a year, then be sure to get rid of that. But if it's only expired maybe for a month or so, check to see maybe it might be still good, but then try to use that up as quick as possible. Number 11 is digitalized CDs or DVDs. Just think about CDs and DVDs in general. Nowadays, a lot of it's online. I do understand if you want to actually physically own your favorite DVD, then by all means do that. But now that we're moving into this more streaming culture, maybe we don't need to hold on to so many DVDs or CDs. Maybe you've already digitalized your CDs and then you might not need to hold on to the hard copy, but you totally decide that for yourself. Number 12 is board games that you just don't play or that actually have missing pieces. So if you don't play your board game, then it's obvious that you don't enjoy it. So pass it along to someone that is going to enjoy that much more. And if your board game has missing pieces, then it just doesn't make sense to hold on to it. Most of the times you're not able to play it anymore, and then you can just discard that. Number 13 is products that just don't work for you. So sometimes we try different products and we can't know for sure beforehand if it's going to work for us or not. But when we realize that it doesn't work for either our skin type or hair type or whatever, maybe the fragrance we don't like, then be sure to maybe pass that along to a friend, to a family member who will enjoy that more than you. It doesn't make sense just to let that sit around in your bathroom or cupboard until it spoils and goes bad. It's best to gift that to a friend. Then number 14 is extra cleaning products. I've talked about this a bunch of times, but we don't need a specific cleaning product for every little surface in our house. I personally use vinegar for most of my surfaces, but I have another more in-depth video on that. I'll link that right here. Then number 15 is extra suitcases. I think a lot of times we have just extra suitcases in various sizes and forms and materials, and we really don't need that. We at max need one big suitcase and then one more travel-sized bag or suitcase, and everything else is just unnecessary excess. Maybe even ask yourself, if you travel at all that much, is it necessary to have a suitcase, or can you maybe borrow from a family member or friend when you do travel occasionally? So be sure to be a little bit more strict and assess your situation accordingly. So these are the 15 things to declutter that you might not have thought of. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below what you're going to declutter next. I'd love to know. Maybe we can find some inspiration for our little community here. And subscribe if you want to see more videos on minimalism, financial minimalism, health, mental health, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.